The drama surrounding the clash between Stephen A. Smith and Gervonta "Tank" Davis has erupted into one of the most intense and unfiltered showdowns in modern sports commentary. What began as a routine critique turned into a scorched-earth confrontation that laid bare not just Smith's frustrations, but the boxing world's deeper discontent with one of its brightest yet most controversial stars. On live broadcast, Smith's words cut through the air like uppercuts, each syllable sharp, deliberate, and aimed straight at the heart of Davis's reputation. What unfolded wasn't just an argument between analyst and athlete, it was a reckoning about ego, accountability, and the true meaning of greatness in a sport that thrives on legacy. Stephen A. Smith didn't ease into his criticism. He lunged at the core of Davis's narrative. For years, Gervonta had painted himself as the underdog of his own story. A man hated and misunderstood, constantly fighting against public perception as much as his opponents in the ring. But Smith saw right through that portrayal and refused to indulge it. In his fiery takedown, Smith demanded to know how someone with an unblemished record, 30 wins, 28 knockouts, could possibly claim victimhood. To him, Davis's comments about haters weren't just hollow, they were symptomatic of a deeper detachment from reality, a refusal to see that his critics weren't envious, they were disappointed. Smith's voice thundered with disbelief as he challenged the very foundation of Davis's self-image. How could a fighter sitting atop the boxing world still act like the world was against him? Then came the moment that defined the tirade, the infamous knee. During his recent bout against Lamont Roach Jr., Davis took a knee in the 9th round in what appeared to be a bizarre, unforced move. The referee didn't score it as a knockdown, sparking outrage among fans and commentators alike. Davis brushed it off, blaming the ring lights and even the grease in his hair. But Smith wasn't having it. To him, that moment symbolized everything that had gone wrong with Davis's approach to the sport. "You don't get to plead victim here," Smith said, shaking his head. The image of a dominant champion suddenly crouching mid-fight wasn't just confusing, it was damning. Smith used it as a metaphor for a fighter who, in his eyes, had begun to kneel before his own arrogance, letting excuses chip away at credibility one comment at a time. From there, Smith expanded his assault beyond the ropes. He dissected every decision that had shaped Davis's career in recent years, painting a picture of a fighter who had traded ambition for adoration, substance for spectacle. Smith accused him of dodging meaningful unification bouts, hopping between weight classes, and chasing flashy crossover fights designed to generate buzz rather than build legacy. In Smith's view, Davis wasn't constructing history, he was curating an illusion. Every knockout, every viral clip was a brick in a monument built for the moment, not for time. "You're starring in your own highlight reel while pretending it's history," Smith sneered, his words echoing the sentiment of countless fans who felt that Davis's once promising career had become a performance piece. Smith's criticism wasn't limited to athletic choices. It was personal, almost surgical. He delved into the chaos orbiting Davis outside the ring. The arrests, the late press appearances, the controversies that seemed to follow him like shadows. To Smith, these weren't isolated incidents. They were proof of a star losing his grip on the discipline and dignity that once defined boxing's greatest legends. "You're not building legacy when you're building headlines," he declared, his tone somewhere between a lecture and an indictment. Smith's delivery carried that signature mix of outrage and conviction that makes his commentary so explosive. But beneath the showmanship, there was genuine disappointment. A sense that Davis, a generational talent, was squandering what could have been a historic run through the sport's upper echelons. As Smith's tirade reached its peak, the tension was almost cinematic. He had dismantled every defense, stripped away every excuse, and left Davis exposed, not as a fraud, but as a cautionary tale. The point wasn't that Gervonta Davis lacked talent. It was that talent, untempered by humility and vision, eventually eats itself. Smith's words served as both warning and prophecy. A fighter who forgets why he fights ends up punching shadows. The unspoken truth lingered heavy in the room. Davis's greatest opponent might not be another boxer but the image he's crafted in his own mind. And yet, for all of Smith's intensity, his outburst wasn't entirely cruel. There was a kind of reluctant mentorship hidden in his fury. It was as if he was daring Davis to wake up, to reclaim his narrative before it was too late. Because Smith, more than most, understands how quickly public adoration can turn into disdain. The boxing world loves a villain until that villain stops winning, or worse, stops caring. Davis stands at that crossroads now, balancing the weight of his record against the emptiness of his choices. By the end of the broadcast, it wasn't just about Davis anymore, it was about the state of boxing itself. Smith's critique captured a generational frustration, one that stretches beyond a single fighter. It was a call-out of an era obsessed with viral moments and curated personas, where the line between athlete and influencer has all but vanished. His fury wasn't just aimed at Davis, it was aimed at the system that rewards flash over grit, charisma over courage. Davis, in that moment, became the symbol of both the sport's brilliance and its decay. The clash between Stephen A. Smith and Gervonta Davis didn't end with an apology or a handshake. It ended with silence, the kind that only follows after the truth hits too hard to argue with. Davis hasn't publicly fired back, but the court of public opinion is already divided. Some see Smith as a truth-teller, the last of an old guard demanding accountability from stars who've forgotten the grind. Others see him as overstepping, turning personal criticism into public humiliation. Either way, the confrontation has forced a reckoning that no one can ignore. And now, the question lingers like smoke after a knockout blow. Will Gervonta Davis respond with another performance that silences the noise, or will he continue down the path that Smith warned against? The spotlight is hot, the cameras are rolling, and the story is far from over. Because in boxing, reputation doesn't fade quietly. It either collapses under pressure or rises, reborn in fire. What about you? Do you think Stephen A. Smith went too far in calling out Gervonta Davis? Or was it a necessary wake-up call for a fighter losing touch with greatness? Is Davis still on the path to becoming one of the sport's all-time greats? Or has he let fame dim the hunger that once defined him? Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button if you love seeing real talk in sports. And don't forget to subscribe and ring